There are two main ways to go about making a bolt. One of them being stock removal. So you take a piece of wood. This happens to be currant bush. It's in the rose family somewhat. It has real nice hard wood, little pithy core in the center, and so one method is to use something and plane this down into the shaft that you won't desire. Other method is to take a branch closer to the right size and straighten that. This time I'm going to show how to do the stock removal. And well, you could use a plane. Let's say you use a hand plane or a knife on edge. I like to use this farrier's file. It makes pretty quick work of this sort of thing. Now this isn't, I haven't straightened this piece of wood. What's important for me to do is keep that pith in the center on the front end of the bolt, making the shaft straight, and the back or the knock end can be off center on this piece of wood. So as I remove material, I'll keep turning this. Remove material evenly all around. Make sure the center pith remains in the center of the business end. So I'm taking this shaft down. About the size I want. So now what I'm going to do is make a flat side, both sides of the knock for the feathers to attach. It's much more difficult to find a piece of wood suitable for an arrow than it is to find material that will be suitable for a bolt. It's one reason I think crossbow ammunition is so efficient. So, taking these sides down flat so I can attach the feathers, and also now this knock will slide right into the groove of the nut. So I'm going to make this shaft into another blunt arrow. what I've done is inserted a little steel nail into the end and wrapped the end with sinew. So I have a piece of sinew here. Let's get this ready to apply. Just put this in some water here. A lot of times I'd put this in my mouth because the warmth of the mouth makes the sinew soften up much faster. But I'm going to do, while the sinew is becoming moistened, I'm going to take some feathers. I have here duck feathers. These are, I believe they're all left wing. You can use either right wing or left wing, but it's important to keep them paired up, left wing and left wing, so that the arrow will spin properly. So one easy way to work these is to just split them on a cutting board. Take the wider half of this feather and cut off some of this heavy part up front. I'm going to cut both. Well, I could cut both feathers out of this one side, but this is not in very nice condition, so I'm going to trim these feathers a little bit right now, which will make them easier to install, easier to glue on. They won't have as much weight making them fall off. The glue will just hold them in place. So these, I'm going to even up some of this, the back side, remove some of this pith inside the feather. has a flat surface for gluing. Feathers will be easier to glue on if I set them. Just set this part in the water a little bit, and that'll let the feathers relax, and it'll take the glue better. So removing the pith out of this, it's really easily done by hand with a drill bit. I'm going to install one of these little nails. So give it more weight up front so that it flies more true, and also a good solid point for impact. Smaller drill bit, it's maybe just a little bit smaller than the nail shaft. This pith is just very easy to remove. It's extremely soft, crumbly. Wrapping this with this sinew will prevent this wood from splitting out. There's some checks here that it cracked while this stick was drying, but sinew wrap will shrink when it dries, and this will protect the arrow from splitting. So just wrap that sinew fairly tight. Evenly down the shaft. Use a little wood glue. Work that wood glue in nice and smooth. This also helps flatten out the sinew wrapping and flatten and even it out. Now I can install this nail. rubber cement just to help it out a little. It'll be tight enough. I could just drive it in there, but just a little rubber cement never hurt. Okay, now for the feathers. Yeah, they've loosened up and they're getting nice and clingy. They want to stick to this plastic even with just the water, so I'll just apply a little bead of wood glue. Which wood glue is basically like hide glue with a thickener in it, a few other additives, so that it won't set up at room temperature. But it's basically a hide glue. So I want to set these feathers far enough forward that there's clearance for the knock to go into the nut. Just install these, set them on, and they basically want to bond to the wood. They stick pretty well. Particularly if you let them relax from wetting them a little bit. Now this is the stage where they're pretty easy to adjust, just by a little bit of movement. And when I set this to dry, if I'm worried about these feathers slowly moving around, the best way to avoid that is if they're vertical. They don't want to move side to side in any way. Basically, the one on the bottom will be pulling straight away, but it has a pretty good bond. The glue is holding it, wanting to pull it towards the wood. So if I set it to dry like this, those feathers won't move around, they won't migrate. So I'll set this to dry, and this little bolt will be finished. Now that this bolt is dry, I can finish trimming these fletchings, and this will be finished.